with the introduction. So let me share my screen. Okay. So once again, guys, welcome to the Pune user group session. Right, we are back with one another session. Okay, with Nuno this time. So today's session is building part to the top in OutSystems, and we have Nuno with us, who is in the top of OutSystems on every department you can see. So we're going to quickly go through OutSystems. If you're new to OutSystems, OutSystem has more than 820K plus members, 2 million app downloads. Okay, and you can check out the OutSystems community by outsystems.com community. We can check out Champions program and MVP program. Nuno can help you more about it. He is one of the MVPs for 10th consecutive years now. And if you want to learn about OutSystems ODC, now it's the time to learn because our ODC is growing a lot. Okay, so now you can also request for 10 days free ODC license and access to the environment, and where you can check out new OutSystems mentor, ODC, you can develop your application, try ODC yourself. So open any ODC training and you will get this option to start free access. And for 10 days, you will be able to access OutSystems ODC environment. Okay, you can complete videos as well. There are a lot of videos available related to ODCs. If you want to be participate in the developer school, so what is developer school? Whoever new in OutSystems do a free developer school for 10 days where you can learn from an instructor, and if you appear for all the days you will get a voucher as well to do a certification. Okay, so you can check out the developer schools happening in your area in Epic or in Middle East or in different regions by opening this URL or scanning this QR code. You can also be part of OutSystems research program. So they share a form kind of thing. You can be part of that research quarterly, and you will also get rewarded. You just need to enter few details. Have you used Mentor or not, or have you used these tools? So you just need to give your feedbacks, and if you participate in the research program, you will also get awarded. You will get a badge as well. Okay, if you're first time joining the Pune user group, thank you so much for joining the session. We are the organizer of this Pune user group, Keja Sheikh, Neha Sheikh, and me, Shubham Sharma. Okay, and today we have Nuno Reis with us, who is who I hope everyone knows. That's why you have joined the session. Okay, he's 10 time OutSystems MVP. He is very active in OutSystem forums. He is very active in ADP list. He is active in LinkedIn. So everywhere where you can see OutSystems, he will be there as well. Okay, so this is the shortest introduction I can give about him. But yeah, now over to him for the rest of the intro.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to share the right screen. Yeah, okay. I apologize in advance, but it's 7 a.m. here in Portugal, so I may not sound on my best. Helena is also joining from Portugal, and I think Gercia also. So uh, bear with me while I try to stay awake. Well, first off, where does this session come from? When Shubhan invited me to speak, I had nothing prepared. But for the last one, I submitted with Elena a talk about being a mentor in OutSystems, and we got rejected. So I submitted this as a talk for user groups. And when Shubhan asked about talking about me, well, being a mentor is a big part of who I am and what I do. So I did a small adaptation on the slides, and here it is. This will be only the second time I'm presenting, and the first one was a trial run. So I hope it's okay. Well, I will focus on very few topics, and I hope you have questions so we can go into more details. So I will say where I'm coming from, what have been my pain points over 20 years in IT, uh, how has mentorship helped me to reach the top, and some tips and tricks that you should hear now. It's better to know from the first day than to discover by yourself in 5 or 6 years. Okay, so my background, this is very easy. I have the traditional path to IT. So I studied computer science. I did an internship about ETL or ITIL. So it's an infrastructure library in IT. It's very focused on services like service desk and customer support, but that expands everything else. And I did development in JSP, XML, and Flash. So dying technology like Flash was new back then. I after that I got hired by the same company. I stayed there for 12 years. I did web development in Cold Fusion, that is also dead, and did SQL Server reporting pages. So not exactly programming, but still very connected with data. Well, in 2008, 2009, there was a financial crisis. I don't know if you were aware of that. Some of you are probably too young to know it. But many people left the company, left the country, started to work for other places. It was very, well, it was terrible back then. I was fresh out of college. I was 3 years of experience, and suddenly everyone was leaving. So more work for the same guy. And I started to do Beanstalk. And what is Beanstalk? I hope you can see it, but this is a mapping tool. So you have two documents, one on the left, one on the right, and you transform them. It could be done in XML by using XSLT or visually with Beanstalk. And what they say is like this. I have an address. Okay, I will copy the address to the field address. I have first name and last name. Okay, I will combine them to make a full name. It was kind of visual programming, but this is a simple example. What I was doing was more like this. This is an invoice. And what you see in dotted lines is because that entire branch of the XML is compacted. So if I expand it, you will see like 20 more lines on each one of them going to the other side. And my day-to-day was doing these kind of things. A bit crazy and scary, but I was the only person who could do it. I was quite alone back then. And well, because in 2011, I was doing the web development like the Cold Fusion and others, also a bit of .NET, but not really my focus. I was dragging lines and placing squares like you saw in that image. So I was the person to drag lines and place orange circles to build web applications. And so I started to do a thing called OutSystems that was new to basically everyone. The company was 10 years old and no one was aware of what it was doing. Even in Portugal, where the company started, it was still quite a novelty. Well, I was very enthusiastic about this technology. So I did my first app before the customer gave me the requirements. So I just tried to do it and got it right at first. So I found all the requirements because I simply did everything that I wanted. I could do it alone. And on those first years, one of my bosses said, if OutSystems had an MVP program, you'd be on it. So a very good thing to hear because I was delivering value to the company and I was being autonomous. And in May 2016, about 5 years since my beginning in OutSystems started the MVP program, asked me to join. So this is how I reached the top and that's over. The story seems easy, right? Well, it's the opposite. So this is what the public on the outside sees. Now I'm going to tell you what's inside, everything that I went through to reach the top. My pain points were very easy to identify, not only in OutSystems, but in big part of my career. So in 2009, I lost my colleagues. I was supposed to be the fifth member of the team. Suddenly, All the other four were gone, and I got just one more person. So I had no supervision, no support, no one to validate what I was doing. I had no best practices to follow. To give you an example, when I did the bootcamp in OutSystems, I was asked by my company to do a set of rules to follow. So I chose the best practice I would follow. And of course, I only chose the ones that I agreed with, that I could do, that I understood. I was my own validator, and that's not the best way to start. Um, and I was learning from my many mistakes. So everything I did wrong, I will try to fix it on the next project. But maybe I will have time to go back and fix on the previous project. And you know that never happens, especially when you don't have time to do everything because you are all alone. The other big pain was that I was never big enough to do the good projects because I was doing everything that was web and the Beanstalk and the OutSystems. I was basically stuck with doing support. And every time there was a big project that could be done in OutSystems, they would hire a consultancy firm to do it. And I would just need to support one more project that wasn't done by me. So I was a bit disappointed with that part. Also, as an MVP, when the program started, I felt quite alone in the area. So they started in Lisbon. There were like 9 people in Lisbon. Then it was me in Porto. And the next one was in Belgium. Maybe there was someone in South UK, but I knew no one in the program. I knew basically no one in the city. So it was just me. And I have a lot of questions like, what am I supposed to do? So how is my life changing now that I am an MVP? Who can I compare myself with? Because again, the people I knew were the ones working as consultants at my company. So not a lot of people. And again, OutSystems was still recent. And who can I talk to? So there was this gap in the community from my point of view. I had more support in technologies that I was junior than in this technology that I was supposed to be uh, someone big. And I felt a bit like this meme that you all know. So what am I doing here? Okay, but I found the answers to these questions and we'll get to that. Now, imposter syndrome. You all heard about this. It's something that people can't get away with. It's always around us in our career, and it was the same here on my start. So, if I am most valuable professional, does it mean the others are worse than me? Because I never felt that good, and if I'm the best, the others are even worse than me. So, this is the opposite of having motivation. So, I don't see anyone that could answer to me. What happened here? I stopped placing questions in the forum because I was afraid of looking stupid. I'm supposed to know the answers, so I'm not asking for help to anyone. You see how this is a block to growth and to learning. Then, my bosses made a comment on the day I returned from the conference as an MVP, and they say, "Oh, Portugal has 10 MVPs. It's not that hard." So that doesn't feel good at all. My previous boss saying I should be an MVP, and now they were saying anyone can be an MVP. So between someone that is saying I'm not that great and OutSystems saying I can be great, who is the right influence, right? So I should be with OutSystems, not with that kind of bosses, and that's what I did. So I'm trying to see if this moves. Okay. And in early 2017, so a few months after becoming MVP, less than a year, I left that company. I took that year to rest, to finish my master's degree, to travel for a month. So just change, clear my mind. I've been at the same company for 12 years, right after college. So I've been too busy to think, basically. And I took a moment for introspection. So Now, with time, looking back, I say I was feeling as a champion, not as an MVP, because I was passionate about the platform, not someone who could use it well. I was doing things that worked, so my projects could go to production, but they were not doing things right. And I know it because uh, just last year, when I was traveling to one, I met the person that got my job, and they were about to kill my first app. So an app made in 2011 was being shut down in 2024. It's a bit crazy. And I simply said, if it was done by me, you can shut them all off because they are wrong. Don't use anything from that. Just forget that that phase exists. Um, well, then as a freelancer, I started to get the big projects and to be challenged. But they also expected me to train junior developers, and I was forced to learn, to study, to learn the best practices, to teach others. And that was what made me evolve as I should. And now, a sentence that is 200 years old exactly is that it connects the meaning of understanding and explaining. So mathematical theory is not to be considered complete until you have made it so clear that you can explain it to the first man who you meet on the street. We've been adapting it for years. Like when you don't understand something, you will say, "Explain it like I'm a 5-year-old," or "Explain to your grandmother," or something like that. So make it clear to someone. If you really master a subject, you can explain it to anyone. And I think this is key because the moment I need to explain, I'm understanding it. And if I need to explain it in different words or simplify the concept, I'm going deeper into the knowledge. So the more you understand, the better you explain. And there is also a saying like, "I'm sorry for the long letter. I couldn't have time to make it shorter." I also like that expression, but couldn't fit everything here. So it's important to explain so you understand it at the, everything. And 2020 changed everything again. It's the second time I say that a year changes everything. So I was on my third team as a tech lead and COVID stroke. So it's been a fundamental change for everyone everywhere. OutSystems started to give vouchers. They gave around 9,000 vouchers for people to learn OutSystems while they were at home, stuck at home with nothing to do. And the forum got thousands, maybe probably more than 9,000 people making basic questions. So trying to learn and study all alone. And besides my work, that was crazy. I was working at the airports in a year that all planes are shut down. There are no international travel and so on. So the business was changing, but I still stuck in the forum, stood in the forum time enough to be the number one. And I stay on number one for 1 month. It was the first time. So 9 years after I started uh, OutSystems, and 4 years after I was an MVP, I became number one at something. And as you know, this is a temporary title, so you don't stay number one. But on the early July, I said, Vera Tiago from OutSystems, my imposter syndrome is down. I made it official. Now I'm comfortable. You can call me an MVP because I can help people. And that took me to the three answers I was looking for years before. So what am I supposed to do? This is a quote from Doctor Who: "Good men don't need rules." So they are not telling me what to do as an MVP, so I can try everything. There's not minimums, and there were no more minimums to try. At the beginning of the program, there was. So I would try everything. What does it mean? I don't know if any of you applied to be an MVP, but on the form, there are questions like, what do you want to do? What are you good at? How can you help others? But I was accepted before that form. I never went through an interview. I was completely oblivious on what was my mission as an MVP. That's why I've been doing everything, like Shuban said. So I'm trying to find my place, and it's fun. So I can do everything without any limitations. Second question was, who can I compare myself with? So we now have more MVPs in the area, but I've been here longer than others. But what does it mean? I couldn't find references when I was starting, but I am the reference for others. So I need to be a good example. It goes back to the same. I can't place stupid questions. So there's more pressure, but because we have an MVP Slack, I can place stupid questions privately. It's comfortable. And who can I talk to? Well, maybe no one because I'm doing new things, but others can always talk with me. That's why I started mentorship. Um, the the consequences were amazing because now Porto has 4 MVPs and 2 champions. After COVID, I think all the MVPs started to talk more. I now have people to talk worldwide. I don't know if you've seen some of my posts recently, but Elena is one of the persons I talked with almost every day because we are both very active on mentorship. And because of other initiatives, I always find people to talk with, like user groups. My first mentor on that was Olga, who is also an MVP. And these networks started to expand. Anyone can do what they want, but they all have someone they can reach out for help. And because of this, and because I was helping people, I don't know how, but I started to mentor over 100 people. Uh, so it's crazy, but that's what's going on. And so I will focus on mentorship because this is very important for my growth on the past couple of years. So user groups, I think, were the first disruptive moment. So I was all alone in Porto, and Olga said, "Hey, we don't have user groups in Porto. You should do them." And okay, let's do it. Let's try it. Something different. And it worked. So some companies do internal events when they want to share knowledge, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. It depends on the size of the company. I do them for the community because I was alone. My company was me. I want to learn from others. And that's how I started to make these events. And for now, it's going very well. I'm doing them in 5 cities, in-person events in 5 cities, going for the 6th and 7th, hopefully this year. So we are growing together and building a community so that at least once a month you see that you are not alone. That was uh, a big change. Now, 2022, I changed everything again. And this, I promise this is the last one. I changed everything 3 times and it was enough. So I started to teach OutSystems, like a full class, not a single person. I did individual teaching before, and I was terrible. 2 of my students were thinking on quitting because of me, of course. It was my fault if they couldn't learn. So I reinvented myself. The second week, I was teaching in a different way. Uh, I was listening. I was forcing them to do things, so hands-on learning, and the entire class of 13 got certified. And I helped them to find jobs. So it was very good, and some of them still talk with me. Well, at least 4 talk with me more than once a month, and I think it's quite good after this long. On the same year, as Raparigas Código came into my life. So this is an association focused on teaching children that women can work in technology. And they also have a program to reskill women into technology. I was lucky to be looking for a person that refused to work with me, and from her I found Raparigas de Código. Like on the same month that OutSystems started to sponsor that organization. They saw me with the word OutSystems and the company OutSystems, so I got in immediately, and I started something that was different everywhere. I even got a new award for it because I started to mentor those women. 1 year later, I was also teaching them, and 2 years later, I was teaching them, and so on. And I hired from this company already twice, from this organization already twice. And what do? We do hackathons. So on the left side, this is my first team. So the two on the left were the ones I hired. The two on the right were the ones from the developer school at Raparigas de Código. We got a fourth place in an hackathon. Uh, They they were juniors, less than 1 year of experience, and we got a fourth place. That's amazing. Then this group, we won the Australia Forgeathon, where there were a lot of companies from India, teams from India. And I can say that the top three are not working in OutSystems. I think the bottom one is also not working in OutSystems now. So juniors with no experience, not certified, and we won an hackathon. And the next year, the same team without me got the AWS award at the OutSystems Hackathon and a fifth place among more teams than before. So without me, the same juniors from before got a fifth place without me. So hackathons for me are the way to go. And I have a lot of reasons for that we will see. So in IT, when everything works, we are doing our job. It's supposed to work. If something fails, it's our fault. The excuse that we hear most often is there are technical issues. What's the technical issue? Probably not technical, but they blame the programmers. In IT, we don't have to make hard decisions or fast decisions. We don't have a lot of adrenaline. We have enough, but not like some other activities. Um, and sometimes we just need to do something good. And among our peers do something that they notice and they congratulate us for, but the next day we are back to our ordinary lives. When has this happened? For instance, when COVID appeared, OutSystems started to help ideas to come to life, and the community submitted 100 ideas on how to save businesses and people and how to stay active in a world that was confined. It was incredible. A few years later, there was a war in Ukraine, and the community started a portal to help the Ukrainian refugees, and it was live in 24 hours just by sheer will of the people that wanted to do things. So hackathons, I think, are not only a preparation for those moments, but what most of us can hope to achieve in a normal year. So I think it's good for us to feel confident in our skills. It's good to learn, to meet people, of course, and maybe one day it will be useful for an emergency project that shows up. And if not, if you want more conventional reasons to apply for an hackathon, I also have them. You go to a job interview and you say, "This took me 6, 7 days. I did it to challenge myself, to learn, to grow. I did that before I have a job or before I had certification. I did it working after hours over the weekend. I found the solution myself. I did it for free. I'm not expecting payment for this. Or I need it because it was needed." So all of this sounds great at a job interview. They want you to do that extra effort, to go the extra mile, to work for free to gain experience. This is what they expect from someone that is an entry level. And the moment you are more senior, you are helping others to reach the same level and still evolving, of course, because we never stop learning. So I think everyone should try an hackathon how you can. There was also an hackathon in Chennai last year in July, I think. So there are a lot of opportunities. You don't need to wait for the big one in September. There was one in Australia started in April. There was one in Chennai over the summer, at least here. So you find opportunities, and if you don't have those opportunities, you can start your own hackathon. Like Shuban said, you can start a free ODC environment and work together to develop some application that you want, that you need, that will be helpful for someone. Okay, so I think mentorship is all about this. Is about personal growth and helping others to grow, and of course building a community. Now, uh, going for the tips and tricks. I don't know if you have any questions so far, but I'm almost done. We will have some time. Um, I have uh, three main topics. So, find your purpose. This is important because uh, for me, OutSystems is fun. I get joy from doing it, but maybe for some of you, it's just a job. And I think you need something to pull you through the day. So you need some motivation to go that extra mile to finish work and still go study a bit more or work on a project. So, and there is a thin line between what is enough and what is too much. So I usually go, I dive immediately into topics. So I started a blog about cinema. In 5 years, I was nominated for 30 awards and won 3, but it was not the final goal. So I started to produce films after that blog experience, and some of them got awarded. I started to write on Quora because of OutSystems, got top writer award on my first year. So what does it mean? I go maybe too deep into this. So my role is to to have the notion of when it becomes an obsession. So don't do it too much. You know, just go for it, involve yourself in it, invest time, money if you have to, but don't go too much. And in OutSystems, I was very close to going, well, to give too much time for it. So I'm jumping between things. And like Shubar mentioned, I'm a top 10 in the forum. I checked last week. Sometimes I go to ideas and to Forge, but that's not my thing. I have a very small presence. I'm doing a lot of mentoring. So this year alone, I did like 20 sessions. It's in 2 months, a bit over 2 months. So that's good. And user groups, I will do in 3 weeks my 50th session. So not in 5 years, it's because we changed platform in between, but in 2.5 years, I think. So 50 sessions in less than, in 30 months or something like that. So it's too much, but imagine I was doing only one of those things. I would go crazy probably. So what I do is I do different things to rest, so I can think clearly and talk with other people and see if it's not too much. User groups, it is too much, yes, but I'm training my replacements, so I'm helping them start, and then I step away. So I won't be doing 7 cities at the end of the year. I'll be doing like 3 or 4 because the others are now independent, and I hope one day to be able to leave them completely so I can just enjoy and watch them. So it's not one specific thing in OutSystems. Okay. Um, the second is to find your place. So I think for most of you, it's normal to change companies, but sometimes you can change internally, switch teams or ask for a new project. So look what is best for you. So I've been on that company for that long because of the people. But technically, I wasn't being challenged. And I think if you have opportunities to evolve and grow, you should take them. And the third one is to find your people. So you don't have to be alone. There's enough people in your city, in your country, online. There will be someone like you, or that can help you, or that you can help. You just need to be receptive to find them. This is the general, the three tips that everyone should know. Now, for the ones that want to be mentors, uh, there's an harsh truth coming. So you can't help them all. You will have many students. Some will get jobs. Some will be good. Some will be great. Maybe some will reach MVP. But you will lose many along the way. And the feeling is a bit like this. Uh, you can't take it personally. So learn when to let go. What I do is I never officially let go, but because I have too many people, they don't expect me to be always there for them and to place questions. I'm there when they have something to ask me. If they need help, if they need to talk, they come to me. But I'm not pressuring them because I know this is not meant for them. Um, Everyone can have a career in OutSystems, but maybe they don't want or it's not the right moment. So I'll just be around for when they change their mind or they need. But I'm not doing the pressure for them to do it. It would be impossible to do this with this many people. Now, in terms of career, this was an extra that I had. Um, it's not like other careers where you have a path very clear uh, and you have too many titles to hope to reach. What I think you should consider, I'm not talking about certifications, but in terms of career, are you more into web or mobile? Are you into backend or front end? And the topic people don't talk about is, are you more a people person or a tech person? You want to lead a team or you want to be the technical expert? Uh, this is those three are the key decisions you should make. Maybe you don't know the answer now. Like I said, I couldn't only find my path after 10 years in technology, so it's normal. Now I know what I want to be when I grow up. It only took me 40 years, so it's perfect. Um, but I tried to do a diagram of the careers. It's a bit small, but you can expand on the recording later. Uh, what does it have? I designed the typical one from intern, entry level, junior, media, senior, tech lead, and architect. But I started to do, well, there's mobile, there's delivery, there's the front end area, and there's all sorts of related topics like sales, trainer, security that you can follow. And this is a bit of that. So here you are making the choices between web and mobile or backend and front end. And here you have some rules that it's about people. So sales or delivery or trainer, it's about the people. And even the titles that are not here, because this is not complete and probably will never be, they still need that detail. So are you into tech or are you into people? It's completely different. Well, and as a final tip, what I did is my story, my path, my challenges, and my solutions for what I faced. But it may not be for you. Okay, so we are all different. This may not be for you. It's just what is important. Always keep learning. So there will be a new certification this year. We are never done. There are still topics I don't know, others I don't like. I always say I'm terrible at front end. So I don't expect to ever be good at front end, but I'll try to be decent. Okay. And one note is the higher you go in the hierarchy, the less they will like you because there's less communication and people don't know what is happening above or below. And the ones that are already working know it for sure. No one knows what you are doing and you don't know what others are doing in the different levels of the pyramid. So treat people with respect because at the end of the day, they all have personal issues. They have professional issues that you don't know. And at least the top is always seen as responsible for all the problems. And because I hope everyone reaches the top, uh, I I wanted to have this in mind for all. Now, I was opening for questions, but I see the Q&A was opened. I can stop sharing.
Okay, thank you so much,
Ah,
Nuno. So let's start the Q and A, and so guys, Q and A is open. You can put your question in Q and A or in chats. Any questions related to anything in our systems? I believe Nuno is the right person to answer this question for you. Right? You have any question related to our systems? Just put it in the chat.
yeah, I'll just do one more sharing before it's over. Well,
Sure.
my next slide is the thank you, and then I have the QR codes and the links if you want to connect with me on ADP List or LinkedIn. Just send. You can follow me on LinkedIn and be there. But if you want to connect, at least send a message so I know you are coming from here because I get like 10 requests a day and I can't accept everyone. So at least say it's because of this session. Okay. Now I can
Okay.
rest. It's your time to speak. Place your questions.
Yeah, we got one question. Let me check. Guys, please ask your questions. Okay, so we got one question. Do you think there are not many opportunities for freshers in OutSystems right now? How do you help other to get a job?
Well, it was easier like 2 years ago. So of my first two classes, the one I did of the 13 that passed certification and the first developer school on Raparigas de Código, everyone with the certification could find a job until early 2023, March, April 2023. So 2 years ago, it was just you have a certification, you get a job, at least in Portugal. The market has been different for several reasons. First, we are on the after COVID, so there was too much hiring for the COVID years, and now companies are adjusting. So maybe they expected to grow and they are not growing. Maybe they are even shrinking or going bankrupt or whatever. So it's general in tech. Um, and in OutSystems specifically, and other low-code tools, what's going on is AI is a strange element. So the speech of being easier to develop with low code has been used by AI. And many companies think that they just need to add AI to the equation and they keep doing things like they've done over the years. So the same programming languages, the same team, but just accelerated by AI. So, uh, so this curve of hiring that was going down after COVID, for some technologies, is up with AI because they think they found the solution. Without systems, there was some uncertainty with ODC because it's something new, and it was just bad luck. It was everything at the same time. So after COVID, the ODC coming up, the AI coming up, and I think the recovery may take a while. But how you can find a job of the few positions that are available, it's what I said. So always study, do projects, try to do hackathons, and you will have a portfolio and people that can recommend you because you are getting real experience from those projects. You are working with people, you respect deadlines, everything that a recruiter wants to hear.
I believe the second question is very similar to this, that will the demand of OutSystems developer increases or decreases due to the cost of license of OutSystems? Like if the license cost changes. So.
The thing is, every time you look at those reports from Forrester, Gartner, and so on, they say that the local market is growing like 20 or 30% every year. I don't know. It's always growing. It's amazing. It will be great for everyone. Uh, Low code is not only OutSystems, but no matter what technology you look for, they always compare only against OutSystems because OutSystems is the number one tool everywhere in the world. And any new player wants to compare with OutSystems because that's the one everyone knows. Okay, maybe it is more expensive, but if everyone is comparing with OutSystems, it's probably because OutSystems is better. They don't compare with the second or third best. They want to compare with the best. So pricing may not be ideal, of course. Uh, I I could never be a client because I can't afford the license. But the target company makes 1,000 times more money than my company, and there are millions of those companies around. Probably, I'm just a small fish, you know. So our systems is targeting big fishes, and as the economy grows and more companies become big, our systems has more potential clients. Yeah. But I think the focus was at least in Portugal because it was the first country where OutSystems found clients. They targeted every possible company. Some of them were very small, some were Portuguese big, that's nothing. And with time, they are adjusting, and maybe some clients don't like the pricing because it's targeting the bigger companies. But in a world perspective, our systems has too many clients to find. Yeah, they just need to make a meeting and prove their points.
Right. Now, we got one more question. Where it is? Yeah. So, few tips to become MVP. Who has OutSystems community rank 5,000 or something?
Okay, so here's shocking information. The ranking doesn't count. So what you need to be an MVP is a few years of experience. I think it's at least 3. What you need is minimum certifications. That doesn't give points to the ranking. And you need to be disruptive in something. If your focus is user groups, you don't get points for it. If your focus is teaching people, you don't get points for it. So you get points for forum, for Forge, for ideas, um, and that is only one way of seeing an MVP. But we had MVPs that were not on the top 2,000, and we still have MVPs that are not on the top 300. So every person is different, and what you do may not need may not give you points in the community. Right now, I'm number one mentor. I get zero points for it. Number one user group organizer in Europe, 0 points for it. So my points are from training and from a forum. The training, so the online courses of the site. So the ranking doesn't mean anything. The tips for being an MVP, okay, it's being good at something. So you need to be unique. And sometimes it's easier in a country that has less clients because you get noticed. You are, what's the saying? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, you know? So if no one else knows OutSystems, if you are the hot shot in the area, OutSystems will notice you because you are the one beacon they have over there. When you are in India, for instance, there's thousands of people. Well, you need to be you can't be noticed without doing the work first. So just do the work. And but you can self-apply and defend yourself. You say, I think no, you can't self-apply, you need to be recommended. But people that recommend you is because they see you doing things. And on so in the country that you are the only one, they have no one else to recommend. In the country they have a lot of people to recommend. Why are they talking about you? Because you are technically good, because you speak at events, because you help others. So it's not about ranking.
So to summarize, you're saying we have two options: either to make impact or switch to a country where no one works in OutSystems, so you can make the impact.
Yeah, it's easier to make an impact when you are the first.
Okay. Yes. Okay, we got one more question. Do you think OutSystems can withstand in the future market because of AI impact?
AI, it's a trend. It may not be the future. So we've been hearing a lot on how AI is changing to more energy efficient and so cheaper computers. Uh, I think that is the one thing we need to be aware, because a year ago AI was too expensive to be everywhere, and now AI is not that expensive and it can be anywhere. The thing is, do we need AI for everything? I think AI is useful to, like the personal assistant, just like your smartphone was doing, like book me something, see if the restaurant is open, that kind of things that you just have a voice command and it gets everything done. Now, to do code, to steal our jobs. I'm preparing an article on that for the past week. Uh, you know that AI reads the internet to train itself, but AI is already writing the internet as it thinks we humans like to read. So AI is feeding AI with information that looks like human readable. But if we don't like what AI is doing now, we like even less what it will do in the future. What will happen? Probably humans will adapt and start to enjoy that type of content. We always do that. We are the weakest link on any relationship with technology. And or AI will just stop doing that kind of things. But like some people are saying, it's too late to remove AI. It's there. It has destroyed our the human internet. So there's not much we can do. But think about code. If AI is writing code and AI is validating code, AI will think that its code is the good one. There are two possible paths. One, AI is doing terrible code and no human is checking it. So AI will start doing worse and worse code. And there will be some serial problem, like financial problem because the bank got wrong code and got stolen millions, that kind of problem. Or AI evolves to a language that humans don't understand and humans will be taken out of the equation. I think either way, AI is scary. Maybe companies will want to remove humans' costs from the development, but low code is I think it's the place where everyone is comfortable, because when low code appeared, it was readable by the business, not only by developers. And if AI is forced to write in low code, humans can still read, even business people. So it's the safer approach to let AI do the code for you. Because again, in science, we are seeing a lot of new discoveries from AI, but we don't know how it got there. In tech, it will be the same. AI will find new things we are not aware. Our brain couldn't reach there, but it can also find terrible solutions that someone needs to cut before they spread as the optimal solutions. So there's always a good balance. At least on the first years, there will be a good balance between human and AI creation. And I think low code is the way to keep this relation stable into the future. I have an article coming up in the next few days about this. So
Yeah, definitely, guys. You can scan the QR code, join the connect with him on LinkedIn, right? And you can read the article. So yeah, we got few more questions. So we got one question that at what point you think we should start mentoring, because we may not have expertise in all the areas of our systems.
okay, in terms of ADP list, you can create different types of sessions. So I have many that are focused in OutSystems, like career path, job interviews, portfolio review, and so on. And I have others that are creating businesses, and I don't know because no one books them, but I have a few others, like 6 or 7 types of session. So you can start mentoring on something that you know. You don't need to start without systems immediately. So I have the business part because I've been running my company for 7 years, and I can help with that. And I have the OutSystems part, and I could create a BizTalk course. So, and I would be a mentor on other things. When should you be a mentor for OutSystems or whatever it is? Uh, are people reaching out to you on LinkedIn or after a user group to make you questions? Does someone sees you as a reference that they could learn from? So I think that's the thing. If you have someone that wants to learn with you, you can start a mentoring because someone will book that session. If no one is booking the session, maybe it's not the right time, but it it can take a while. On my first year on ADP list, I got one session. On the second year, I got 104 or something like that. So people need to know that you are there, and you again, you need to have an impact. You need to be good at something, or someone they aspire to become.
So yeah, we got one a long question, but I guess it's very important question in chats. So if you can open chat and see us this
Okay.
question.
Mhm. Okay. So low-code platforms aren't a practical job path right now. Okay. Why? It's like I said before. There's been too many people in the past, and the market is adapting. But on LinkedIn this year alone, I saw dozens of openings in India and Vietnam because the European market, I think it's saturated, but Asia is still seen as cheap labor, and there's a lot of openings moving from the West into Southeast Asia uh, normally. So I don't think it's saturated in India. What happens a lot, and I've said it in mentorship sessions, is in India, there's not a tradition of sticking with the technology. So people do OutSystems, they do Mendix, they do PHP, they do .NET, they go back to OutSystems, and then they say, I have 4 years of experience in OutSystems because I started in 2011, but you haven't stayed in OutSystems. And when companies hire, they want that experience, not the years since you started. And I've seen it a lot that companies that outsourced it to India regret that decision. That's a consequence of cultural difference, if I can say, but it's also some not good initiatives by the companies. So this is again the stereotype that we have from the country. You as individuals have your own path. So maybe you should work for foreign companies. So I think Indian companies are seen as selling people that are not as experienced as they say. But you, if your CV is checked by someone, and you have the projects and you do the interview, uh, you can prove your real experience. Now, for the juniors, if you don't have that experience, you are competing with people that have more experience. It doesn't matter if it is 1 year or 4 years. So maybe it's not ideal to start, but it will not get any get better. So we have a saying: today is the youngest you'll ever be. So no need to wait. Start now. Start doing projects. Build your portfolio. Even if you are not working in OutSystems in the future, you are still learning something new, and it's one more skill that you have. So I think that is the main vision. Like for me, OutSystems is my main tool, of course. I can learn other low-code tools, but why? No one is hiring me as a junior to do ServiceNow or whatever. Maybe Power Apps because it's similar with Beanstalk, but my focus should be OutSystems. For you, of course, you can try many tools, choose the ones you like most to work, but go for the jobs that are open. Maybe you're not starting in technology you want for now, but you are still getting years of experience. And if you change later and you are honest about how many years you have, you may get the opportunity. I've converted people from Mendix to OutSystems and from Power Apps to OutSystems. So it's possible to change your low-code platform. But again, you just need to be someone they want to hire. So build a portfolio, do hackathons, and always be honest about your experience. The IT experience, low code experience, OutSystems experience, they are all different. But if you are clear on the numbers, they will know what they are hiring and not feel deceived.
Okay, thank you so much. So I guess we have last question now from Nagesh again. Uh, so what do you think? Is it easier now or difficult now to become an MVP, or it was like 5 or 6 years back?
Well, we are less now than we were before. So on the beginning of the program, I think I was picked by luck. So I was the only person in Porto. They needed someone in Porto. So I was very enthusiastic. So I was doing things. I did an early access program and so on. But that was it. Back then, it was enough. But I'm not MVP after 10 years because I was enthusiastic in 2015. I am an MVP now because I've been enthusiastic every year until now. So if they notice you, you submit with valid topics saying what you are doing, what you plan to do. You have an interview. It's important to speak English. Not mandatory, but important. Uh, so I don't think it will get any easier because the more people we have we are 800,000 accounts, so maybe half of that in real people, so 500,000 people in the community, and there's 76 MVPs and 100 champions or something like that. So it won't get easier, and it's again the same. You don't need to be an MVP from day one. You can only be noticed after 10 years. The thing is, this can't be a one-time thing. This is a commitment for a full year, because being an MVP in 2026 for the work done in 2025, and in 2026 you don't do anything and lose the title the next year, I think it was a waste of time for you. Maybe if you got a job for being an MVP, you may lose that job because you are no longer an MVP. So it's unless you have it in you. So if you want to share and help others and go the extra mile, because If it is always learning to be a normal person, to be an MVP, it's even more. So if you want to be an MVP, this is, and I say it is a commitment for life. So you stay in a problem maybe 4 or 5 years, and your personal life doesn't allow you to continue. But the goal is to be an MVP for a long time. So
Thank you so much, Nuno. So I guess now we can wrap up this session. Again, you can connect with Nuno on EDP list on LinkedIn. You can ask your question, anything related to our systems in future if you got any queries. Uh, so before wrapping up this session, if you can quickly turn on your video, we can take a quick picture so we can post it on LinkedIn. That will be awesome. Last thing, guys, which we need. So if you can quickly turn on your videos. Thank you, Abhijit, Aditya, Ani. Guys, please, if you can turn on your videos just for a minute, it would be awesome. Thank you, Sachin.
hello, Suraj.
I don't know.
So good to see you guys, right? Thank you so much. So, I guess let me take the picture.
Just the one thing I want to add. So if you guys are trying to become an MVP, as you know, said it's not important that like people are asking. Sorry, nowadays people what they do, they pick any post and comment anything, or they just copy paste other people's reply. So it's most like that. You should get noticed by OutSystems that extraordinary work which you are doing. Then only you will be picked up for the MVP. So as Nuno said, he was picked for MVP. I was also picked by OutSystem as first MVP from India. I think we were only 27 people at the start, but as program continues on, so you have choice either to leave and or to stay. So they, when I was leaving the program, they gave me choice, but terms were becoming difficult, and it was not possible for me to continue with my work and with OutSystems program. So I left the MVP program. But it's like that. You should get noticed by OutSystems team.
Thank you so much, Suraj. Yeah, for sharing your inputs. Right.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you guys for joining this call. And Nuno, thank you so much for accepting this invite. And I feel like, and Neha would agree with me, that this is one of the most impressive session, general talk session we have done, non-technical sessions. Thank you so much for it. It was very interesting. I believe
Oh,
people have answered whatever questions they have. Okay, you can again reach out to Nuno for any queries in future, and see you on the next week's session. Thank you guys for joining today.
thank you, Shahab, for having me. And and thank you, everyone, for listening to me all this long.